Welcome to this new episode of The Disabled Life. The purpose of this podcast is to tell people how I live my life. The name I'm using on the podcast now is The Disabled Guy because I felt that you needed to hear something as opposed to just my voice there. I'm a disabled male living in Florida with cerebral palsy. I'm here to tell you how I live my life and some of the volunteer work that I do and how I managed to do it with cerebral palsy. Without further ado, let's go into the episode. Okay, now for the episode for this week. I am starting my new season now on Saturday. So, what I'm going to talk about today is something that happened to me when I was a kid. I have a sister. She's younger sister than I am. So, she would do some stuff to me that was annoying in a certain way. Let me explain what I would mean. Okay. Sometimes she would come on and she would get into a problem with my mom, problem with my dad when she was a kid. So, she would blame, for example, she would want to blame me so I wouldn't get in trouble. Even though I spoke to my mom, and my mom said no, I did not do that. She knew, but there was times that honestly she didn't know, and she would punish me and let her go, and I'm like, oh no, this is terrible. I was 9, I was like 5'8" or something like that. So she's younger than I am. So what I had to do one day while this was going on, I decided. I told them in the gist a moment because I was frustrated. I said, when you don't know who to believe, punish us both. And I said that, and the first time they didn't do it, but the second time it was done, and it was done, and it worked, because after the first 2 times I had to deal with it, and I got punished too. But I knew for a fact that after a while the situation would stop because of she didn't want to deal with getting punished, and I understand that. So I used that to my advantage to stop the whole situation, stop the problem we were having. So, as I say, when you're a younger child, you don't know what you're doing. You think you're doing the right thing. You think you're saving yourself from problems, but you are not. You're making problems for others, and then they come on and make problems for you. You know, it's funny the way things are. I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay, because I wouldn't go out with my friends and stuff. All they would do, all through high school, all they would do is ground me and put me in my room. But it didn't bother me after a while. I'm like, forget it, I'll just deal with this. It would make me mad, but you know what? I said, you know what? I'll deal with it. Really, it wasn't doing what they thought it was doing. And to be honest with you, it wasn't doing anything. I would just sit here. I would just sit in my room, relax, not worry about anything, and just live. There was nothing I could do. But what could I, it's like, fine, they just did this for a while, and I'm like, okay. So I just had to deal with it. What could I do? There's nothing I could do and make it better or worse. After a while, things just stopped. When I became an adult, the whole world changed because everything had stopped. And it was interesting because another thing that was funny in this situation, something I already knew, but my mom decided that she was going to tell me anyway. When my sister was a teenager, we would sometimes go walking somewhere, or I would go hang out with her and her friends or whatever. It didn't matter to me. It doesn't matter. And at a point, mom tells me this, and I'm like, okay, this is something I already know. she says to me, at a certain point, this is gonna stop. I said, oh yes. I didn't say yes. I didn't say anything. But I knew. I couldn't. I didn't want to say I don't know. I just said okay because I know. But sometimes parents of disabled people will say things, and they don't. They think that they're helping you, but that's fine, because they don't know the difference. They think something, and the easiest way for me to handle situations like this is to say, okay, I am not going, I never countered it. I don't go against anything. I don't do anything. I just follow along with it. Let them, if you said something, it's fine. Sometimes I've been sick before the COVID, and she would tell me, oh, don't go somewhere. I'm like, okay. I thought, it's fine. It's fine. I thought that, she's trying her best, and I respect that. She's trying her best. But there was times where I know I could go, but I know she didn't want me to go. So what I would do is I would make it seem like it was my idea to do this, because just easier and just whatever. I'm not gonna argue with somebody. I'm not, because it's pointless. Just make sure that you agree with what they're just saying, and that's how I handle it. To this day, I still do that sometimes. They don't know. Mom doesn't know when I do it. Dad doesn't know when I do it. I just do it because it's what I need to do. It's what I do because it's just easier to keep my head, and it's to avoid a non-issue here. It's just that's the way I handle things. It's something we have to do as disabled people. Another thing I'm going to say additionally is be careful, people. Be careful. Not only disabled, all people. Be careful when you meet someone online. Start chatting with them, because some people want to get you to give them money, and I don't feel that that's fair. Because you don't know who that person is. You're only seeing what they want you to see. They may say, okay, I'll come see you, send me money. So how do you know that's gonna happen? You don't know. You may send them money and they don't show up. So I'm like, okay, so I don't do this. No problem. I just don't worry about it, and don't send anybody any money. And that's the way I do things. And a lot of people think that that a lot of people think that they can play that game with us disabled people. Because some people send money. You don't have to be disabled. I'm just telling you guys, please be careful what you do out there in the internet, because the internet's wild west. You don't know what's going on out there. People have asked me for money in the past, and I never sent it. But man, I'll tell you, when I told my mom about this thing, one day it happened to me, and she was like freaked out. Don't give her the number. Don't give her this. Don't give her a phone account. Don't do any of this. I'm like, I had asked her to write the account number for the phone line to my name, and she was freaked. She thought I was going to give her a cell phone for someone in my name, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that, because then I'm responsible for the bill. So there was no way I'm going to do that. I may be disabled. I may not be able to walk, but I have a good head on my shoulders. I think. With that, thank you for listening. And I will. In closing, let me say thank you for listening to this episode of The Disabled Life. You can follow me on the following platforms. You can follow me at Good Pods. You can leave comments, messages there. You can also follow me on Twitter at The Disabled Guy. And you can also listen to me on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and many others. Once again, thank you for listening, and I'll also give you my email. My email is Kilo Echo 4 Kilo Echo Yankee, or KE4KEY@gmail.com. Once again, thank you. And thank you for your support. And I'll see you next week.